Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. Thank you all for coming in. I am honored to be here. I met John at another event, like another networking event, if you will, on a ranch. And we connected, and he was, thank goodness he was after me because I'm a busy woman over at the Smith Center. So he stayed with it, and thank you for that. And I am, again, honored to be here, and thank you all for coming. So I always like to start with this question. How many people are familiar with the Smith Center? Okay, about 3/4 of the room. How many people have been to the Smith Center? Okay, about the same. How many people originally thought that the Smith Center was affiliated with the Smith's grocery store? I get that. Truly, I get that. Okay. So, for those of you who are not familiar with the Smith Center, we definitely have to get you to our campus. Smith Center is a little over 10 years old. We just celebrated an anniversary last year, 10 years in the making. So first, I want to start the presentation with a little video to give you kind of an overview of what the Smith Center is all about. So while John is queuing up that video, I'm gonna correct a couple of things. So I did go to Salem College. I started in vocal performance. I did not finish in vocal performance because I had a little disagreement with my dean. Don't recommend it. So I ended up taking a left-hand turn. I only had 1 credit left in music theory in my senior recital. And the dean and I had a little disagreement because I wanted to sing jazz for my senior recital. And she wasn't having it because we were a classical institution. So that was not allowed. So I ended up finishing in communications and English, which took me into a career in sales and marketing. Worked about 13 years for USA Today. As he said, worked with a bunch of different production companies in Los Angeles while I was there. Very fortunate to work on several award shows, like the Grammys. If there's an award show out there, I've probably worked on it. Was fortunate enough to tour with Justin Timberlake right after Prince died. He had one of his launch parties at Prince's mansion, which was fun. We'll sit down, we'll have drinks, I'll tell you all about it. But until then, yeah, John's gonna cue up this video and just watch and enjoy.
No, I'm just kidding.
And so it began. A place to explore, a place to expand, one to create, and one to love. The hard work of seeing a dream and fulfilling it is measured in one beating heart that experiences the joy and passion that the creative moment affords. And so it begins. A journey that opens the door to unlimited possibilities. In an unexpected place, at an unexpected time. Exactly perfect. Art is perfect. It can't be anything else. Its intangible nature demands that it be perfect, on a scale we can't come close to understanding. But we can feel it. And so it begins. A time to dream, a time to inspire, a time to build, a time to create. This time marks the beginning. Opportunity begins, and our wildest imaginations point to what is truly possible. And so it begins. With every step we take, with every gesture of love and giving, we make an impression on someone else. And with hope, we realize that every child who experiences the power of their creative selves learns the lesson of true spirit. And that lesson will become our legacy. And so it begins. A place is born that will feed the youthful spirit of us all. It will inspire artists, musicians, dancers, inventors, teachers, builders, guardians, mentors, writers, actors, all of us. It will change us. It will make us better. It will give us a new opportunity to be the best we can be. And so it begins. We rejoice its arrival. The Smith Center.
No dead air time here, isn't it? No, sir, you're not here. Let's go to the clippers.
All right, so at the Smith Center, most people know us because we are the place where Broadway lives here in Las Vegas. We now have the Toyota Broadway Las Vegas series with a great multitude of this season old and newer Broadway selections. But we also have 2 other venues on our campus. So along with Broadway that comes to Reynolds Hall, we also have Troche Theater, which is our black box theater. We'll talk about that in a little minute. And then we also have Myron's. Myron's is a 240 house jazz club, if you will, that most people aren't familiar with. So about half of the people who are familiar with all of the performances that go on at the Smith Center, whether it's Broadway, whether it is one of our resident companies. We also house the Las Vegas Philharmonic and Nevada Ballet Theater. I'd love for opera to come, but maybe in the future. But what most people don't know about the Smith Center, and I actually almost started the slide this way, is the Smith Center is a what? Most people do not know that the Smith Center is a nonprofit. So about 70% of operational costs are taken care of by ticket sales at the Smith Center, and then 30% of the operational cost we rely on the generosity of the community, all of our donors, members, and sponsors to make up that other 30% of the cost. So with that, I'm going to take you through a little bit of what we do in the community, because again, there is so much more to the Smith Center than just Broadway and dance and theater. We are largely grained in the community. We work a lot with community organizations. We also work a lot with the CCSD through several education and outreach initiatives. All right, so as I said, we just celebrated 10 years at the Smith Center. And just, not even last year, earlier this year when Frozen was in town, which had a 2-week run, we celebrated our 1,000th Broadway performance. So a huge, huge milestone for the Smith Center. Last year was our largest Broadway season yet. We typically have about 7, 8, maybe 9 Broadway different performances that come through, Broadway productions that come through. Last year we had 11. So needless to say, we were busy bees at the Smith Center. Basically, one show would come, perform for 2 to 3 weeks. Hamilton was a 3-week run, Frozen was a 2-week run, Jagged Little Pill was a 2-week run. So as one show was loading out, we pretty much had another one loading in. So there was 0 downtime at the Smith Center. So we have, as you can see, a lot of different performances that come through. The shows run Tuesday through Sunday, 8 shows a week. When we had Tina, the Tina Turner musical, a little bit earlier this year, that show was such high energy and so spirited that they needed 2 Tinas to perform. So many shows, so much dancing, so they interchanged the Tinas for different performances. So along with Broadway, again, Broadway is our bread and butter, but we also have other performers that come. So along with different jazz artists, we have a legend series. We have Paul Anka that likes to come and perform on a regular basis. We have Johnny Mathis coming back. Alan Cummings, we have some high-level Broadway stars that like to come and perform. This year we have quite a robust jazz series. So everyone from Chris Bodie to Dave Koz, Kenny G performed. Another legend, we had Gladys Knight come this year. So more and more people come to the Smith Center because we have the most state-of-the-art acoustic sound system in Nevada. Along with what goes on in our main stage in Reynolds, we also have, as I said, Myron's, which is about a 240-seat house, which is kind of it used to be cabaret jazz. Now it is just Myron's, our jazz club, but you can enjoy light bites and drinks there. But again, the influx of regional, nationally recognized artists, huge, anywhere from Tito Puentes to Pancho Sanchez that comes in to perform. We have Jane Lynch coming in to do a Christmas concert there, so a very eclectic group of performers and artists that come, whether they are on the Broadway stage, whether they're on the jazz stage, whether they're different bands, eclectic bands. One thing that we're trying to get worked into our programming are comedians. We've got several requests for a little comedy at the Smith Center. So if you've never been to Myron's, I highly, highly recommend it. We try to keep our prices low so that everyone in the Las Vegas community can enjoy a performance of any kind. Probably for any show that's on the Strip, we're half that price, if not lower. Myron's runs about $45, $55 a ticket on average. So you get to see some really high intensity, nationally recognized performers performing Myron's. Education and outreach. So this is where I'm gonna spend just a little bit of time because, again, most people don't know the amazing work that we do in the community. So our education and outreach department lives in our building next to Reynolds, which is Bowman Pavilion after Keith Bowman. The education and outreach department was named after Elaine Wynn because she was so generous in donating to creating the education and outreach program. So some of the things that we have going on, there's so many that I had to write everything down because I came in and I was like, I had no idea that the Smith Center, again, was so ingrained in the community. So we have several initiatives that work with not only kids, but also teachers, teaching artists, performing artists, and then we have several other initiatives for the underserved community as well. So everything from student matinee performances. If you're a kid in the CCSD or a charter school or a private school, those schools reach out to the Smith Center and we allow kids to come. We invite the kids to come at no cost to them. So again, we rely on the generosity of the community, of our donors, of our sponsors to fund these programs. There are other performing arts centers and other areas that do charge for these services, and we do not. We like to invite anyone who wants to see the performing arts, anyone who wants to take advantage of creativity and inspiration. We wholeheartedly invite them to come in, and again, we do it at no cost. They only have to get there provide their own transportation. So we, on average, have about 70,000 kids that come in and enjoy student matinees per year. We also have other programs like Any Given Child, again, creating equity amongst all. We like to invite all the kids to come in and enjoy the performing arts. We also are an affiliate of Southern Nevada Wolf Trap. So Kennedy Center is like the national indoors program theater. Wolf Trap is the national outdoor theater, but they encourage kids pre-K to come in, same thing, and enjoy performing arts and learning and cognitive initiatives. We also have Access to the Arts. So Access to the Arts has been going on for a while. So most of these programs we started before the Smith Center even opened their doors. So most of these programs started about 5 years prior to the Smith Center being completed with Access to the Art, again, through education, where we go into Title I schools, underserved communities, and again, invite the kids in to participate in seeing a theater production, again, at no cost to them. One of the things that we just did through Access to the Arts just this past weekend was we invited 5 different mariachi programs from different schools in Southern Nevada. Who knew there were 25 different mariachi programs in elementary and high schools? Like, I had no idea. So we had Mariachi Herencia to perform over the weekend, and we invited these kids to come in to kind of see what their passion is, to come in, meet with this band, to connect with this band, to get tips, tricks on performing, kind of pick their brains. It was a little bit of a workshop, and then they actually got to see the band perform. So to experience those kids viewing what they want to do was, again, life-changing for them. We also did something similar for the first time when Tina was in town. So when the Tina Turner musical, often productions will reach out to us to say, hey, we want to do something in the community. We want to invite somebody in the community. We try to invite community organizations, but again, our emphasis up until this year has been on education. So this year we got to broaden it a little bit. We had a sponsor to come in and sponsor some of that Access to the Arts for Tina, for the Tina program. And we got to invite organizations such as Dress for Success to come in and experience a Broadway show. We had Tulips, we had CORE, we had all of these Junior Achievement, we had all of these organizations to come in, youth organizations to come in to experience shows. We had Hope for Prisoners there. So we had the center come in. So we had a plethora of organizations that otherwise wouldn't have been able to take advantage of seeing Tina, the musical, and got to experience not only the Smith Center for the first time, but to experience a Broadway show. We put them in box seats, and they got a whole experience, which was amazing. I would say about 95% of those in those organizations had never seen a Broadway play, had never been to the Smith Center, had never experienced theater before. So again, it was overwhelming for them, just the smiles, the hugs, the thank yous for inviting them in again at no charge to experience a Broadway theatrical production and just be part of the community was amazing. I'll run quickly through the rest of these. So we also do professional development with teachers. So we have them come in and train with professional artists. We do teaching artists, which whenever we do our student matinees, 9 times out of 10, those titles are linked to some sort of a children's book. So we link the literature to the theatrical production. If we have the funding, we give every single kid in that class a book so that they become familiar with the literature, with the subject matter before they come to the Smith Center. And then we send in teaching artists and resident artists to give them kind of a etiquette class on what to expect when they come to the theater. We also have in-school performances. So when our theatrical productions come to town, again, a lot of them like to donate their time and go to a school and either have a talk back, have a performance, but give kids in classrooms kind of a taste of what to expect with that production, to tell them all about the production, to tell them all about the theater, and again, what to expect. Then we have programs that focus on, again, elevating creativity for those who want to go into the performing arts. So we've got Disney musicals in schools, we've got High School Musical Theater Awards, which is kind of like the junior Tonys, if you will. So those kids, the best actor and actress from those awards actually gets to go to New York. We fly them to New York and they get to compete in the Jimmys. Again, the junior Tonys, which is thrilling for them. And then we have sensory inclusive. So our sensory inclusive productions invite anyone who has sensory sensitivities, if they need the lights to be dimmed, if they can't take loud noises, or if they're on the autism spectrum, to come into a safe and welcoming environment where they're not judged, to come in and perform, again, the theater. So they can feel completely at home if they need to get up and run up and down the aisles, if they need to fidget with toys, if they need to